pretty much improv. I seen Kenyan Martin and Nick Young get into it over this Kenyan Martin Draymond thing. Um, and we'll talk about Anthony Davis reportedly has really no real trade value. 35, often injured, and I think he can opt in as a player option. So, I mean, pretty much Anthony Davis creeping to that 40 age, and we'll talk about at the end Pacers playing in the snow. And you got your Captain Save a Keisha Cape niggas in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care what niggas put their motherfucking penises at. Um, just as long as you ain't, you know, downing nobody. Your preference is your preference. But but yeah. Um, but yeah, my thing is this. I'm not a Draymond fan. Um, I'm from Michigan. Come on. I'm from Michigan, and I'm not a Draymond fan. I remember he was like 300 pounds, hooping in the state championship and shit. And I liked him then, but between him and Kenyan Martin was a better player. Let me just say this: people can get into statistics, um, but just everybody know, Hooper to Hooper, Kenyan Martin, which he was born in Saginaw, raised in Oak Cliff, Texas. Um, Kenyan Martin was a better player. I mean, that just ain't that's common sense. Anybody that watched the game, Draymond did nothing better than Kenyan Martin, other than pass the ball, right? And Kenyan Martin was the number one overall pick. You can talk about he didn't make this All-Star team and stuff of that nature. And those are accolades. What I'm talking about, ability to defend, the ability to what he did offensively, his explosiveness, his ability to block shots, what he did with J. Kidd. I mean, he was phenomenal. He was an integral part of what they did with the New Jersey Nets. You know what I'm saying? He was a solid player in Dallas. It's just to the fact that, Draymond fell into the perfect situation in a winning situation. So Nick Young brought the point up that, Draymond played with a top point guard. I just hate the fact that they call Steph Curry a point guard and they put him, and they stop, and they put him in the same vein with real point guards. And anybody that watched me talk about basketball, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Is them guys trying to classify Draymond Green as a point guard, and he not a point. I mean, not Draymond. Draymond more of a point than Steph Curry, and and this is going to be controversial, but I would say, um, I don't consider Russell Westbrook a point guard. You know, Westbrook is a guy that chases assists. He don't know how to really run a real offense. He don't know how to, get people shots. It seemed like he just chased stats. I don't consider them real point guards. Guys like Magic, Zeke, J. Kidd, John Stockton, they were more true point guards. Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, Grant Hill, they were more point guards than Steph Curry. Steph Curry was not a real point guard. I just hate the fact that since he played the one, it's like seeing Allen Iverson was a real point guard. He wasn't. And that's just my stance on it. J. Kidd is a true point guard. Chris Paul is a true point guard. Steph Curry ain't like that. You can't put Steph Curry in the offense and he can run the offense and do the thing. Even things like guys like what Chauncey Billups did, he can't do that. And I'm just keeping it a bean. This ain't no hate. People gonna make it seem like it's hate or I got hate for the dude. No, I'm really big on the true meaning of being a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Draymond was more of a point guard than Steph Curry. Steph Curry ain't really wanting no offense and putting people in position. Russell Westbrook, he was chasing stats. That's why nobody want him. You know what I'm saying? That's what nobody really want him. They play a selfish brand of basketball. But yeah, Draymond Green, man, like I said, I don't even see him as a great defender. I don't see him as this great defender that they say he is. Like, let's keep it real. Like, who has Draymond really locked up? Has he locked up a LeBron? Has he locked up a James Harden? Do you put him in the same vein as Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman, Dwight Howard, Scottie Pippen? I mean, come on, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I mean, he ain't a better defender than Mookie Blaylock. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, he just got the accolades from a watered down era, in which, in his case, it is harder to play defenses era, but they don't play no defenses era because you can't touch nobody. So the whole thing with Draymond, had that nigga went to the Clippers, that nigga be playing for Maccabi Tel Aviv overseas. And I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Who was Draymond known for playing great defense on? We can remember Ben Wallace holding his own versus Shaq. We know what Dwight Howard did in his heyday. Dikembe Mutombo, we know what he did. Shit, Alonzo Mourning was a better defender. Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, we could talk about perimeter defenders. Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of some. I mean, shit. Jake Hill was a better defender than than Draymond Green. Jake Kidd alone. Prime Jake Kidd, old ass Jake Kidd. I'm trying to just think of some other guys historically. Shit, Rajon Rondo was a better defender than him. Kevin Garnett was a better defender than him. Ruben Patterson, Tony Allen. Like, this motherfucker just got accolades for being on a great team. He probably would have never got those all-stars, all defensive, if he wasn't on the Golden State Warriors, bro. That's a fact. That's a fact. He was a product of being at the right place at the right time. He fell to the right situation. I believe a guy like Manu Ginobili or Tony Parker, who was drafted late first round. I think Manu was drafted late first or second. I believe regardless of where they went, they were going to be great players. Nikola Jokic, damn near regardless of where he went, unless they intentionally fucked him over. And y'all got to remember too, he got drafted with Nurkic, and it was a real question of whether they should, keep Nurkic or keep Jokic. That was a real discussion. So it could have went left for him. You put Draymond with the Clippers, you put Draymond with the Cavaliers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Idaho Get Backs. Man, come on, man. Kenyan Martin is, it ain't nothing that Draymond do better than Kenyan Martin. Maybe then shoot a three. And the reason Nick Young defended him was because Draymond said that Nick Young, he did what he was supposed to do for them to win the title. He said, well, Nick Young had one good game, versus the Rockets, and he did his job. So Draymond vouched for Nick Young. He threw Nick Young in it, vouched for him. Therefore, Nick Young feel like he got a vouch for Draymond because Gilbert Arenas in particular always tell Nick Young that you won these championships, but you wasn't the main guy. That's the whole thing about Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas just think this is more of a Gilbert thing. Gilbert Arenas just think, if you wasn't Kobe or Michael Jordan or at least like Scottie Pippen, you didn't, they could have won the championship regardless. Regardless if Steve Kerr hit that shot, John Paxson hit those shots. Even with Kobe and Shaq, regardless if Robert Horry didn't hit that three versus Sacramento, they wouldn't have three-peated. I think they would have went down like 0-2 at home. But in his Delulu mind, he does a lot of instigating. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Gilbert Arenas is retarded, and I'm being dead ass serious, or he do this for play, right? He don't take nothing serious. He thinks everything's a game. And he has this track of mind where if you're not a scoring leading guard, you're not playing the right way. And that's why he never won a championship, because he never learned how to play point guard. You got a lot of these guys who was classified as a point, like Jeff Teague. He was classified as a point guard, but he never knew how to play point guard. And there's no disrespect to Jeff Teague. These guys never learned how to play point guard. When Chauncey Billups learned to be a true point guard is when his career took off. Gilbert Arenas was ultra talented, but he never learned how to play point guard. That's why they never beat LeBron. That's why they never got over the hump. He made nobody better. He made nobody better, and that's a fact. You know, why was the Lakers so successful? Yeah, they had Kareem, Michael Cooper, Byron Scott, Jamal Wilkes. People forget he dropped like a 40-piece in that finals that Magic played center. They always leave out Jamal Wilkes. But they were so good, it's because Magic affected the game. He made everybody around them better. You know, why the Bulls win? Michael was a hell of a player. But Scotty made a lot of them people better. When you got a guy, you got that unselfish guy, and Draymond is that guy for Golden State. I give him that. His ability to pass the ball, he makes them go. The backdoor cuts, his ability to make people better. And I say this in his defense, without him, you know, Golden State ain't as dominant. He made a lot of them better, coming off them curls, them double curl screens, them pin downs. He made the backdoor cuts. That's the reason they was able to run that offense the way they ran it. Because Draymond's ability to make people better. So you notice that with a lot of championship teams, you know, especially, I mean, you look at the Indiana Pacers. People seeing the effect of having a real point guard. For so long, they wanted to get rid of the real point guard. And if it wasn't for guys like Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, it'd be dead. If it wasn't for those guys keeping the art alive in the last 10, 15 years, you know what I'm saying? You know, think about it. Your best point guard, you know, outside of Chris Paul has been LeBron James in the last quarter century. It literally. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're talking about LeBron James, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Rajon Rondo, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing Nikola Jokic. Those have been your best point guards. By the definition, they're able to make people better. They know when to score. They know when to facilitate. They know when to make the right play. They unselfish. You know, they can score 5 points but impact the game for a victory. You know, they can get people in and out the sets. They know what the offense needs. They need a 2, they need a 3, but they need me to facilitate. Those, you know, that's a lost art. You know, right now, you know, if you can get LaMelo Ball to play with some type of discipline, well, his daddy couldn't get him to play with no discipline. So if your father can't get you to play with no discipline, who could reach LaMelo Ball? Lonzo could have been that. Right now, it's really like Cade Cunningham, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Draymond Green. And a few of them guys I name is, you know, they closer to the end than the beginning. This is what we saying, man. You know? But y'all categorize them off position. Oh, Gilbert was a point. Gilbert was a fucking shooting guard. Westbrook is a shooting guard that chase stats. Steph Curry is a 2 guard. That's just what it is. But nobody want to say it. It's a lot of guys in this league that's point guards, that's playing center, power forward, small forward. It's real talk. He said the best point guard of all time was supposed to be a center, Magic Johnson. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. So it's really a positionless league. And Jalen Rose always said they created positions so the novice can follow the game. I mean, and that sounds fair. That's a very fair assessment. I believe him. But, you know, like I continue to say, from my recollection, and remember, I'm a Piston fan. I grew up, we had to get over the New Jersey road bump. I watched Kenyan at Cincinnati. Kenyon Martin was a better player. Draymond had a better career. He won championships. He got accolades. Just keeping it real. You know, you can say, well, you know, he played with Kenyon Martin. And I'm going to tell you this. Them Golden State teams didn't stand a fucking chance versus them New Jersey Nets teams. Them Laker teams that the Nets played. They didn't stand a fucking chance. Let me say that again. They didn't stand a chance. Keep it real. I don't think the Warriors would have beat that Portland team with Steve Smith, Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells, Arvydas Sabonis. They wouldn't have beat that team. They wouldn't have beat Vlade and Weber and Mike Bibby. They wouldn't have beat that team. I'm just keeping it real. They damn sure wouldn't have beat the 04 Pistons. Even with Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it a bean. They damn sure wouldn't beat them Laker teams with Kevin Durant. There was no answer for Shaq. I heard Jeff Teague. I'm like, yeah, Shaq, Jokic will kill Shaq. Man, like I said before, when Shaq get that ball on the post, it was nothing that Jokic can do but holler. I'm going to tell you that ain't nothing he can do but holler. There is no answer for Shaq in the league right now. None. There is no answer for Shaq. It doesn't exist. Not in the league right now. There's not an answer for Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal will foul Jokic the fuck out. Jokic ain't got enough nuts. No disrespect. He ain't tough enough to fuck with Shaq. And I love Jokic. He ain't tough enough. He gonna kill Shaq from the outside. But once Shaq get him on that block, it ain't nothing that he can do but foul out or tap out. That's it. Ain't nothing he can do but holler. Ain't a double team in the NBA gonna stop Shaq right now. And let me throw another one in. Ain't nobody gonna stop none of them niggas. Shaq, Elijah Wan, Mourning, Ewing, Robinson, and Admiral. And damn sure ain't nobody gonna stop Wilt. Say what you want to say. Go look up Wilt's statistics. His measurables. Wilt Chamberlain is one of the greatest athletes that ever played in sports that was ever created. I don't think when I start thinking about anybody I could say that's comparable to Wilt, athletically wise in the history of this country, only guy I could think of is Bo Jackson. That's it. So for all these people that sit here and they say, oh, athletes was credited just this shit, man, bullshit. Go look up Wilt's measurables. Go look up Bo Jackson's measurables. But yeah, man, ask Kenyan Martin about Shaq. He had his way. Ty McCullum, Jason Collins, one of them, the brothers. Man, dude, I watched them finals. Very uncompetitive. And New Jersey was a damn good team. And let's keep it funky. If Steve Nash got them 2 MVPs, and this ain't no disrespect, I think Shaq won one of them MVPs one year. Jason Kidd, real talk. And Shaq should have been MVP like 7 times. Let me say that first and foremost. But to keep it a bean, Jason Kidd was the MVP a couple, maybe you can make a case a few of them years in Jersey. Jason Kidd was the MVP. Real talk. Jason Kidd was the MVP. They look at, Golden State success and, this is why I don't really get into statistics and accolades. Per much saying we just talking about who the better ball player is. But to be honest with you, that Jason Kidd that was leading them Jersey team, he was way better than Steph Curry. That ain't even no competitive. He was a way better basketball player than Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Before, he was way better than Steph. What he was doing, it was amazing. But statistically, if you look at it, ain't no way, he didn't average 20 points or he didn't average 30 points. Ain't no way he deserved to be, man. You had to watch it. This is why you can't go by statistics solely. You got to watch these guys play. Jason Kidd was on another level. Jason Kidd deserved the MVP. I might go say he deserved the MVP like two or at least 3 of them years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how good he was. That's why I don't get caught up in statistics. He was fucking amazing. He was amazing. Keith Van Horn, had he played up to par, maybe their fortunes would have been a little bit different. But, VC came, Richard Jefferson, VC. Man, a lot of them niggas, man, owe Jason Kidd attacks. Cause Jason Kidd got a lot of niggas paid, boy. He got a lot of niggas paid. Jason Kidd, man, I will forever say that. His impact on them Jersey teams, bro, he deserved at least one MVP. I make a case he should have got 2 or 3. Nigga, Kerry Kittles hadn't been heard of since fucking Villanova. Jason Kidd took that sorry ass next team back. Man, bro, low key, if it wasn't for Shaq, bro, he was the best nigga in the league, bro, right after Shaq. And there was some killers, around that time. C Webb was right there for the mantle too. Shit, C Webb, Kobe, AI. Man, it was a couple, man, dude. That's why I'm really enjoying the NBA this season. It seemed like they made a lot of good adjustments. It's a lot of players that I like, and I'm enjoying the NBA. And this is the first time you probably gonna hear me say this in a long time. I enjoy the NBA more than the NFL. The NBA just seemed like, okay, we gonna be a little bit more physical. We gonna market better. We gonna have games on every night. It seemed like the NFL, made them step that game up. Real talk. But the NBA been fantastic this season. Other than, the Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards. But it's been good. I watched some Laker games. I watched some Utah, Chicago. I watched a few teams play. Orlando, Atlanta. So, yeah, I prefer watching the NBA games or NFL. NFL just seemed, this year it just seemed too fucking fake. Honestly. But, but yeah, that's my opinion on Kidd. I mean, I speak very highly of Jason Kidd. I grew up in that era, NBA Shootout, NBA Jams, NBA Showtime, NBA Streets. I grew up in that era, but I speak very highly of him. Very highly of him. I as a Piston fan, I remember it, and I'm gonna say this too. Jermaine O'Neal was another guy who was a great defender. Jermaine O'Neal's another guy that probably deserved more consideration and, probably would have been MVP had the Malice in the Palace not happened. He's another guy, that's better than, I don't think Kenyan Martin named him. He's another guy that's better than, come on. He was another guy that was better than Jake. That was better than Draymond Green. But yeah, Draymond got the accolades, but we just talking about strictly hooping. Kenyan Martin, and I watched both of them. I watched Kenyan in college. I think he played for Bobby Huggins. I think Van Axel might have been on one of those Cincinnati Bearcats teams. I could be wrong on that. Oh yeah, Penny was the truth. Penny just knees gave when Shaq left. It was just, he had to, carry the grunt of the load. Back then, the only guard that was carrying the team was Michael Jordan is the first guard to carry a team. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you had to have a will to build. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Wan. Remember, before Ralph Sampson got hurt, they had Elijah Wan and Ralph Sampson. They made the finals in the 80s. People forget that. Michael Jordan was the first guard to carry a team, So that's when you hear people try to have disrespect for Michael Jordan. Like, he carried that. You got to remember, Magic had Kareem. Had a hell of a team when Magic got there. Most people don't know that the Lakers, they chose James Worthy over Dominique Wilkins. Most people don't know that. I believe they made a deal with the LA Clippers, and they end up having a number 1 pick. And they chose James Worthy. They said James Worthy was a better fit. And you can't argue with the results. Worthy, played on them. Remember, I think he played in a national championship with Michael Jordan too. Him, Sam Perkins. Sam Perkins was one of the first big fellas shooting the tray ball. Sam Perkins, Bill Laimbeer, Terry Mills. I think Terry Mills from Detroit. See, I know basketball, believe it or not, more than I know boxing historically. It ain't even close. That's a fact. I know basketball history like the powder back of my hand. We started talking about, one of my favorite guys. The first and one guy was Pete Maravich. So yeah, I know that shit like the back of my hand. A lot of people want to know, like, really, I could do a basketball channel and I could blow most niggas out the water just with the knowledge. But yeah, they took Worthy. And I think Worthy was a better, he defended, and that was the whole thing with between Worthy and between Wilkins and Larry Bird. Larry Bird would say if Dominique played some defense, he probably would have had a championship. Worthy played defense. You gotta remember, they had Michael Cooper. I think he won Defensive Player of the Year. AC Green, Kurt Rambis. Laker teams was loaded. And then Larry had Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. This video of Robert Parrish, nigga like 58 years old, like really giving, Hakeem Olajuwon the business. Real talk. So rest in peace, Dennis Johnson. I mean, most people consider, I believe, the 86 Celtics the greatest team in NBA history. I mean, I can't argue that either. I can't argue it. They had a hell of a squad. I think Bill Walton was on the bench. He messed his knee up, but Bill Walton was one of the greatest NBA players of all time, believe it or not. He hurt his knee. I think he brought Portland their only title. He had bad knees when he bought the title because he had knee bursting, but that UCLA pipeline was nasty work. Yeah, Worthy had a Finals MVP. That motherfucking NBA pipeline from UCLA was nasty work. Llewellyn Sender, Bill Walton. I mean, they turned them. They turned them out, man. They turned them out. But historically, I can hang damn near with anybody. We talking about this hoop shit. That's how I know for a fact when people started to have these conversations about today's hooper and yesterday's hooper. I mean, shit, y'all niggas be saying Ray Allen is the greatest hooper of all time if he played in this era. It wouldn't even be. I ain't talking about the Ray that most of y'all. I mean the Ray that was in Milwaukee that I used to see play Detroit. That Ray Allen. I remember Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton. I mean, that Big East was treacherous. Allen Iverson. I mean, we started talking, man. I can talk the hoops. Man, I could talk that shit. I mean, some of my unknown favorite players, man, niggas like Tom Gugliotta before the injury, Mark Price, DeJuan Wagner before he got sick, Terrell Brandon, David Wesley, Bobby Phillips. Used to love watching them in Charlotte. And they were some of my favorite ball players to watch. I used to like watching Rhett Chapman shoot the ball. Shit. Rest in peace to Bison Daly. Man, dog, I used to love the 90s ball, man. 90s ball was like, man, I was so nostalgic, bro. I was such a, Allen Iverson could do no wrong. Like, him and Kevin Garnett, Reggie Miller, them was my three. Them was my three favorite players of all time. It'll never change. I don't think so. AI number 1, KG number 2, Reggie Miller number 3. Everybody else after them niggas. Them was my dogs. Them was my dogs. Them was my motherfucking dogs. And I love Gary Payton because he got my favorite Nike 9 Jordan shoe, the glove, the first one. But them was my dog. But yeah, they had a report out there. I forget who put it out there. Maybe it was Mark Stein. I can't remember who put it out there. I put it in the community tab. So they said the Anthony Davis don't have no trade value, that they ain't knocking down the door. So the Mavericks said that they want to help, facilitate trades for Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Clay to get to places they want to get to. So right now, Anthony Davis, I didn't know he was 35 years old with the injury history, and I think he's owed $63 million. So I know they said he had a player option, so I don't know if that's 30 something down the middle, or if he make what he make this year, then he owes 63 if he opt in. Not sure. Um, so I'm not sure. He good. Oh yeah. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, he friendly. He won't do nothing to you. He gonna try to kiss you.
Hi, puppy.
No, he won't do nothing.
Why you?
Look, he won't do nothing. I promise. He nice. Don't
Oh,
run.
that jumped it. What you mean?
He just want to kiss you. He ain't gonna do
I
nothing to
don't
you.
want a kiss though.
See, he nice.
Listen. Okay.
He won't do nothing to you.
I'm okay.
He's
Bye-bye.
sweet. Say thank you, Miles. He loves personal touch. If he be scared of Miles, I mean, he ain't nothing to be scared of with me. He don't care about me. But if he was like, when I had the too many pictures, or if he with the girls, that girl that he like know, or kids, he get protective. But with me, he don't give a fuck about a real nigga. He think I'm his protector. I think that's what it is. But yeah, Miles real nice. But I like when people come over and interact with him, because when I used to live in the hood, I used to be able to just let him loose, and he'd run to the park, run around the park, everybody would pet him. He'd come back home, knock on the door, sit on the porch, and everybody would pet him and love him. But moving out to Whoville, people be scared. So not the white people though, but I don't know, something about white and Indian people that don't be scared. Mexicans, they don't fuck with them. Like Mexican and black women, them girls was teenagers. So they kind of, but like old black women with their little shorties and yorkies and shit, the ones that be trying to attack you, but then act like your dog the problem. Like, bitch, your dog ran out your apartment, ran off your leash, and is attacking me. You know what I'm saying? And my dog just you're not a threat. You know what I'm saying? But they looking at me like, get your dog. Like, bitch, your dog's off the leash. You can't control your dog. Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, control your dog. I can walk my dog without a leash. It'll be a squirrel. It'll be a crackhead. He won't do nothing. Because I train my fucking dog. I spend time with my dog. Oh, Hector trying to fix his car. Hey, Hector, man, I ain't gonna lie. The Hector mechanics out here, man, they be working on their little Hondas. Hector, a Honda expert. Hondas and get off this stuff. And what you call the Scions? That's what they drive. But back to Anthony Davis. It was a bad trade. So if you can't get, hold on. Yeah, if you can't get 20% of your value back, on the trade that you made, it's a wrap. I mean, shit, if you can't get 50%, just think about the Shaq trade. Like, these motherfuckers be killing me. They be killing me. Like, walking by me and locking your door like I'm about to do something to your bitch ass. I can't stand these fucking illegal immigrants and shit. Bitch, please. What the fuck I'm gonna do? Rob you with my pit bull, bitch? Can't stand these motherfuckers, dog. I swear to God. One day I'm gonna come home and just grab the fucking door on their ass. Like, bitch, let me in. Can't stand that shit, dog. Scary ass hoes. Scary ass fucking illegal immigrants. Yeah, I said it. This shit gets on your fucking nerves. Like, yeah, bitch, lock your door. But then they be the ones breaking into niggas' cars and stealing niggas' shoes and shit, though. They the fucking real heathens. I'm about to go fill my application out for ICE tomorrow. Fuck yeah. When our DoorDash, they lock those cars. Yeah, like, bitch, the fuck I look like robbing you? Bitch, you in a 1965 Mercury, ho. What the fuck do you got with a Goodwill jacket on? If I was ICE, all these motherfucking racist ass Hispanics around here, I'd pack them niggas up and turn my motherfucking and quit. As soon as I got all these racist motherfuckers out here, I quit right after that. Funny acting motherfuckers. But then they want to break into your shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to break into your shit then. Real spill. And they want to steal your gym shoes and steal your packages and break into your cars and shit. Real talk. They want to steal your shit. That should be crazy to me, but then they want to steal your fucking shit. Acting like they all good and shit. Them thieving ass niggas. Fuck out of here. That shit grinds my fucking nerves. Bitch, you 10 motherfuckers in an apartment. What do you have that I want? What do you have that I want? My dog didn't bark at you. My dog didn't say nothing to you. Like I said, man, fuck the media and fuck them, bro. I'm going to put my ICE application in. I'm going to get all these funny acting racist ass foreigners around this bitch and I'm going to quit. That shit is irritating, dog. I get Becky. Like, you have nothing. Nothing. Hector got your ring. Eduardo got your ring from the motherfucking Harbor Freight. Stop it. But yeah, you know what I'm saying about Anthony Davis, bro. It's just to the point where, yeah, he's 35 years old. I can pull up his contract right now. So, I mean, he often injured. So, I mean, where does he, like, well, LaMelo, he injured. He always injured, but he young. But Anthony Davis, like, where do you put him? Do you put him with a young team? You put him with a contender, a rebuild? You know, if you just say, hey, man, I can't get no value for you, homeboy. Like, where do you put him at? Because in the contender, he matter of fact, he be 33 at the end of this year. So I don't know where I got my information from. At the end of the contract, he'd be 35. So in 28, 29. So right now he's 32. So, okay, I see what they're saying. So right now he's making $54.1 million. He's got the ring for $4 million. Oh, God, man. Next year he make $58.4 million, and then in the player option in 27-28, he makes almost $63 million. So that's a huge commitment. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you getting 55, 50, 58, and $63 million over the next 3 years. So, you know, you making that commitment, you know, really what that screams to tell you is that, one, if I'm a contender, I'm not giving up capital. I'm not giving up capital and taking the cap hit. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, I'm gonna match contracts to make it work, but I'm not giving you nothing of substance. You know, if I'm a lower level team, I'm taking the contracts, you know, and I'm just gonna take that contract blow and I'm gonna just rebuild around that contract. So I'm starting over necessarily. So if I really don't even know if you Brooklyn, maybe you think about it. If you Charlotte, maybe you facilitate a deal. So it's an interesting thing with that, man. I mean, the rumor is Chicago is interested, but where's Chicago at on the hierarchy? Shout out to Easy. Like, where's Chicago at on the hierarchy? They're a really good team this year. You know, playing well. Nikola Vujovic got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Could be on his way out. I mean, Kobe White, I'm not sure if he got healthy yet, but they're not upper echelon. You know, maybe if you Toronto is doing very well. You know, Brandon Ingram is hooping. Scotty Barnes is hooping. Emmanuel Quickly is hooping. If you Toronto, and Masai Ujiri's no longer there. If you Toronto, do you try to put a play together and say, okay, I don't want to give up much, but I'm willing to, do it. You put him in Toronto. I don't think if you Cleveland, you play with the church's money. If anything, if you Cleveland, you trying to get another. You trying to trade Garland and get another big guard next to, Darius, next to Devon Mitchell. So you start thinking around the league. Looking at contenders. Like honestly, Lakers. I don't know if the Lakers will want him back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe try to dump Austin Reeves, but I doubt it. The Clippers, they should be selling. The Nuggets, do you try to entertain it? You try to put Aaron Gordon in there and try to make it work? You know what I'm saying? Do you try to do it? If I'm Denver, I'm probably trying to get my hands on the Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. I'm trying to get my hands on cheaper guy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to think about all the teams that's contenders right now. I think Phoenix, they got some players they can play with, honestly. But if they close enough, if you Houston, I think Kevin Durant is perfectly fine. Sangoon and Kevin Durant is fine. I mean, once you start kind of looking at where he can go, I mean, it's only a few places. Hey, you lost Luka, maybe you say, hey, what about Trae Young? Send him to Atlanta. I believe it's Jalen Johnson team. Hey, another thing? Guess what? If Dallas hadn't for a rebuild, I mean, y'all may or may not like this. How about trade him over there to Philadelphia? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Joel Embiid's situation and Paul George. If they starting over, maybe trading to Philadelphia and try to buy somebody out. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe you trade to Philadelphia, Atlanta, maybe Miami. I mean, maybe Pat Riley can put them in shape. So if you start thinking about it, Raptors, Miami, Hawks, 76ers, you probably don't want to trade them in the West. That's what I'm looking. Hey, maybe if you're Indiana, I put a play together this year, and when Hellburton get back, we lost Miles Turner. We keep a couple guys, we keep Siakam and Neesmith and guys like that, and next year Anthony Davis can integrate with Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think the Celtics will make a move like that. They shave cap. So if I'm looking at it, 76ers, Hawks, Heat, Raptors, the Pistons, I mean, it can work. Honestly, I think it's a great fit. But I think their eyes would probably be more on a Lauri Markkanen type of player, to be honest with you. He durable, he younger, he can shoot, but Anthony Davis is a great fit. He can defend and he does some things I think he'll fit, but he don't stay healthy. So, if I'm looking at, if you're talking about any contenders, 76ers, Hawks, Heat, Raptors, Pistons, those are the teams that I'm probably looking at. Put them down there with Jalen Johnson is the real deal, bro, in Atlanta. Jalen Johnson, the real deal. Trae Young, I think, Atlanta took him over Luka, not in Dallas. In the West, really ain't nowhere you really going to trade to. Where you going to trade him to? You want John Dallas? Fuck no. Portland, hey, I feel like they had Chauncey, they'd probably be a playoff team. Okay, hear me out. This is the best one I could think of. This is some wild shit. If he is traded in the West, I think it's one team that make a lot of sense. Minnesota Timberwolves. But the only thing about it is, if I'm Dallas, I gotta get Rob Dillingham. Bar minimum. Bare minimum, I have to get Rob Dillingham. If I'm Dallas, it has to involve Rob Dillingham. I don't give a fuck about your picks. I gotta get Rob. So I think if I'll take Rudy Gobert off your hands. I know AD hate playing the 5, but we're gonna have that conversation. I see if I can also sweeten the pot and get, Gafford or Lively from Dallas. I see if I get one of them, throw Dillingham, throw some picks in there, whatever, something else they want. And I think AD, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, I think I would rock out that way. If I can get a Gafford or a Lively, so be it. I think Minnesota is the only ideal situation in the West. But in the East, I think Atlanta, Raptors, Heat, Pistons, Chicago. He from Chicago. So I think those are the best things for him. Paw Patrol. He said the Pistons should get Keon Ellis from the King. I like Keon Ellis. I like that dude from Dallas too. What's his name? Marshall, Najee Marshall. I'm a huge fan of his. I don't know who trying to break in. See, Oswaldo coming back. Hey, boy, Hector, who they out to get you, nigga? but yeah, where else we at with it? Oh yeah, the Pacers and shit. You know, it's the whole thing of the Pelicans got rid of Najee Marshall, Dyson Daniels. Wow, they had Najee Marshall. Problem. Dyson Daniels was good too. I like him a lot too. Him and Jalen Johnson. You know, in Atlanta, they doing something. I like that other dude they drafted, a Kongu too. He's shooting the three too. Atlanta got some pieces, bro. I like Toronto and Minnesota. Yeah, I don't think he wanted. Toronto's dope though, other than the taxes and going. Like back in the day, like y'all know I live in Detroit area. You used to be able to go across the Ambassador Bridge with your birth certificate or just with your ID before like 9/11 happened. Yeah, that's what happened. Like you literally can just like you didn't have, like it takes hours to go across the Ambassador Bridge. Now it's a bridge and it's a tunnel. Like the Ambassador Bridge, y'all probably all seen it online. You know, you can look at Canada. Like downtown Detroit is right where Canada is at. They got a tunnel, and I actually been on both. They have a tunnel where you go underwater to Canada. So you go. They have this tunnel under the Detroit River where you go straight to Canada in a tunnel. So you can take the Ambassador Bridge or you can take the tunnel. Also, I've heard they building another bridge where you can walk across, which I don't know where the fuck this point of that is. If I gotta have a passport or a hands license to go over there, and then like if you get on the freeway and you get off to the Canada exit, ain't no turning around. You gotta wait through customs and like it can be hours. It could be hours going across the Ambassador Bridge. I had a homie, he was late for work, like made a wrong turn. He said they searched the shit out of his car. He said he made a U-turn to come back around and they searched his car again, bro. Like it's crazy, bro. Like if you get off on that Canada exit coming off the freeway, I believe it's like 75 or is it 94, and you get off to the Canada tunnel, it clearly says, and I don't even know how the fuck you can get lost. It's gonna be a long day, bro. Ain't no U-turns. You gonna have to go through customs. It's gonna be a long day, bro. But but yeah, man. Yeah, this whole thing about Indiana. If I just give them my ID, they'll let me through. If you got an enhanced license, but don't ask me. I don't fucking know. I ain't been over there in a while. I went to Toronto some shit many moons ago. You used to go back and forth. It used to be seamless before 9/11. They used to go back and forth, fuck the Ontario hoes and have a good time and shit. 9/11 fucked everything up, fucked the city up. That's one of the best things about, used to be about being in Detroit. It was like you wasn't far from Chicago. Ohio got a bunch of amusement parks. You right by New York. I think it's like an hour flight to New York, hour some change. About an hour flight to Atlanta. Like you wasn't too far from nothing, to be honest. You don't have natural disasters here for real. That's why people stay here. You don't have natural disasters. Some of the best suburban living you can do. Food is great. I mean, it's just that people look at the city of Detroit and they're, oh, it's terrible. But it's a lot of great neighborhoods in Detroit. It's a tremendous amount of them. To be honest with you, when I lived in the hood, my block was better than living out here. We all had each other backs. We watched the kids. We watched the dogs. We took care of each other. Our cohesiveness in my neighborhood, that's better than living out here. You don't have no friends. Brad and Becky, and they ain't your friends, bro. They are not your friends. And then these fake uppity bougie ass niggas, hell no, nah, bro. It's really like, you lucky if you find like a couple people that you can trust. If you need, to watch out for you. But in reality, um, if you had to ask me, I miss living in the city of Detroit. I don't miss the insurance prices at all. I don't miss the insurance prices. Fuck no. That's why I like living out here but in regardless, like you gonna pay. It probably make up in other areas, but if I had a choice, I like living in the city. I like living in the city, bro. Like city is better. Like I can go shoot the CVS, shoot to get some food at any time. But like I said, it get dangerous though. Yeah, for sure. Like it's way more peaceful. Don't have water quality issues out here. If I was honest with you, I enjoy the convenience of living in the city of Detroit for sure. Like, I could shoot the casino in 10 minutes. I could be east to west in 10 or 20, like 10 minutes. Um, like you in the mix. For sure. You in the mix, like cake mix, man, like cake batter, man, in the mix. Living. I mean, but honestly, it depends, bro. It depends. You know, there's some neighborhoods I'd never live in. Like this east side, I'd never stay east. I'm good. I'm not a fan of the east side. I probably got along with like one or two east side niggas in my whole life. I'm not a fan of the east side of Detroit, bro, like at all. I always was fighting with them niggas. There always was some hating ass niggas, to be honest with you, bro. Like the east side, dog, I never liked them niggas, dog. Like I got along with my nigga name. His name was Philip Gill. This nigga mom was fine as hell. Other than that, I never got along with east side Detroit niggas. Never. Nah, I hated the east side, bro. Hated the east side. No offense to them niggas. I just never got along with them. But but yeah, I'm more. I just like the west side. You know what I'm saying? But but yeah, to talk about the Pacers, like a lot of people, they making a big deal. Remember, they went viral in the Eastern Conference Finals this year for everybody having white. My thing is this, man. Like, why black women mic checking? Why they mic checking black men? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really get it, bro. You tell these sisters that we don't like the septum rings, we don't like the BBLs, we don't like the always wearing makeups, the weaves, the wigs, all this shit, and they say we don't do this for y'all. They don't do anything to our liking, so most guys are going to explore. I'm not saying I'm a promoter of it, a divet, whatever you want to put a name on it, but at the end of the day, they don't want to build with nobody. Becky is strategic. When Becky tend to build, especially with a black man, they're very strategic. They're very meticulous. They can spot potential. They can spot ambition. They can spot hidden potential, and they tend to pick the right ones. It was the Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman. He did an interview a couple years ago on the Pivot podcast. Go watch how he talk about his Becky, how she paid all the bills when he was interning as a head coach. He was a football player at Ohio State and didn't make it. Had to intern as a head coach. They build with you. These other women build with you. Think about it, bro. They was talking about Terry McLaren, and the way his wife looked, and she don't look as good. She was they was hating on her. But he said, we've been best friends since middle school. He married his best fucking friend. What are we talking about? And then also when you talk about today's athlete, it's not the same as last 30, 40 years ago. Most of these athletes are coming from, great neighborhoods. They growing up like they got mad at Bernie for taking a white girl, to the prom or whatever, right? And it's like, the school that he go to is like less than 5% black. Proximity is a big thing when you talking about who you with. It shapes who you attracted to. So if you grew up in Bronny James neighborhood and all you see is yoga pants wearing, a Starbucks carrying, what you call them fucking slide-in shoes, them slide-in moccasin Uggs, that's all you see. That's what you're going to be attracted to. Proximity and programming is real. And a lot of times, women tend to kind of be the opposite. They have an infatuation. They have an infatuation for exotic shit. Like that's why they like Benzes, Ferraris, Porsches. It ain't no different than that for women. Don't let them lie to you. That Bobby what her name? Adolf, the one that stole Funny Marco shit. She got a black boyfriend. I'm gonna talk about that in Free Game 89 tomorrow morning at 10. Go check it out over there. Link in the description. She going over there. They mad at her for being with a black guy. Sometimes when you get to experience something, like if you experience a neighborhood or a new city, I want to move here. Oh, this nigga down here tripping, bro. What are you doing? I want some attention. You experience a new neighborhood and shit. You like, oh man, okay, a new city. I want to live here. I can't. It's just something different, bro. So for women, when they get around, like white women get around black guys and shit like that, it's exotic to them, bro. It's exotic to them, man. And a lot of times, even with these guys, going to PWIs, and that's predominantly white institutions and shit, a lot of these white girls put him in position. Look at He Got Game. When he went to the school where Rick Fox was showing him around. Look at that. We do anything for you, Jesus. I mean, come on. But then again, you have a group of women who, you know, who let Becky trick them out of their spot. And I'm a feminist, and I hate men, and I want to decenter men, and who want to be around that shit? All they did was trick you out your man. So now you don't do nothing for men. Either it was Becky tricking them out of their man, Tether's tricking them out of their man. You know what I'm saying? Or it was these old cougars who didn't have a man in Misery's Love Company, or it was Lesbos that was tricking them out that man. That's what I'm just saying, man. Y'all be thinking like, and it was whatever, but everybody not gonna think about racial pride no more. Ain't nobody gonna think about having these mulatto kids and they growing up weird. No disrespect, and they have identity crisis. Ain't nobody thinking that far ahead. Ain't nobody thinking about when I meet their family. Of course, when these athletes meet their family, it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? When these athletes, when they meet these black guys, it's acceptable because he worth money. Money gets you in. But if it's some Tyrone that ain't Ivy League or ain't making a bunch of money already, and he working his way up, man, hey, Brad and Becky families is gonna disown them expeditiously. Hey, man, hey, what you doing? What you doing, Becky? What you doing with him? I don't know. Even if they get a bottom basement Brad, I did a short on that Brad. That was his wife had to hype him up to go to work and shit. He was crying, I can't work, and they cool with that. But if you bring home a black man and he ain't rich, wealthy, they frown upon that. But the difference is this: that soul pole that turned Becky into a Black Lives Matter. That's different. Women just have a different biology when you kind of talking about these things. That's what people don't understand. A woman follows a man lead. So when a dude divests, whatever you want to call it, get with the other, that woman, if he a strong man, that woman follow his lead. And I always say what you end up finding out that black men have been raised in the matriarchy, what they end up finding out when other races of women end up dealing with black guys, they find out that they've been conditioned to put women first. That's a fact. They've been conditioned to put women first. Brad don't think nothing about they women. Al Muhammad don't think nothing about they women. They don't even look at them as human. So a lot of times when these other ethnic groups of women get with these black men, they get treated number one. They get treated like they never got treated before. In no other community pedestalizes they women like the black community. They don't. Now, a lot of the Asian women, they run their husbands, and that's an old thing. They break their husbands, they run their husbands, but they still don't pedestalize their women like that. I'm telling y'all what it is. So not only if you're going after an athlete, he prioritizing you when other races of men, they really see they women as beneath them. I'm not talking about these leftist Canadians or these leftist American, Brads and them leftist men and Roland Martins and shit. I'm just talking about you go anywhere else, like women are damn near looked at as inhuman. The shit that they complaining about, the patriarchy in America, man, you living in a matriarchy compared to the shit. Like, what was it, Albania? I wanted to do a video on this shit. I think it was Albania or some shit where the women was crying for help a couple months. I gotta find that woman's video again. I deleted it. And she basically was saying that in her country, I want to say it was Albania or something like that. Like in a court of law, they were so oppressed in the court of law, it took 3 or 4 women to form one human witness in a court of law. So I think she said it took 3 women to form one formal witness in their home country. So this is what I'm talking about. So when these women, actually they have an opinion in your household, they don't have to like bow down to the sons. They be bowing down to their sons at 5, 6, 7 years old, homeboy. Let me tell you that. They can't say nothing to their sons after a certain while. But the trade-off, Charles Johnson, the trade-off is this. They sons take care of their women though. They buy them cars. They really want for nothing. They really want for nothing. I don't know how many of y'all dealt with like Arab women or know anything about Arab women. See, I live in Detroit. You know, Dearborn is the highest Arab populated city in America. I was driving, when I was driving through there during 9/11. Our school bus was dropping us home through 9/11. So you got to understand how crazy that was. We driving through 9/11 after the towers was hit through the highest Arab populated city. It was a movie. I mean, it was a good one. All right, a lot of them people, man. I was talking to a brother, man. He was a Islam. This some years ago. At Best Buy, he said, we had to hide we couldn't wear our stuff no more because, we were scared after 9/11. He was just saying this the first time they was, able to really wear their stuff and not kind of get profiled. So I was riding through there. I seen it firsthand, bro. So you gotta understand. I see they communities and all that stuff, man. And I know a bunch of them who deal with like Brads, who deal with Gloctaviuses or black men in general, and they deal with them, and they won't let you penetrate them. Let me break this down. They won't let you penetrate them. They'll suck you off and all this stuff because in their home country, when they get penetrated and blood don't come out, they go to that upper room. They go to that upper room, homeboy. They gone. So I watched the documentary, man, where overseas, female nature is female nature. So when their husband get them and they pop them off, they pop their chair. They want to see blood. And when they lost their virginity before the husband was, before they got their husband, they had these organizations that would sew their hymen back up. So when the husband, break ground, he would see red. You kind of catch my drift. So it's deep. So when you come over here and you liberalize and you get acclimated to other cultures, all that traditional shit fall off. No matter where you at, all that traditionalism and all that stuff, whatever you want to call it, that falls off, homeboy. These women have a choice. These women have options. That's what I be telling y'all. That's why non-black women love black guys, because we've been raised in a matriarch. We've been raised to put the woman first. And once brothers kind of like really figured out that, and this is like the first like generation that's really figured out they don't have to put up with the black woman's manipulation. This the first generation that's really calling out the black woman, the mother, challenging the patriarchy, challenging or the matriarchy of the black community, and they've been challenging the women. They've been talking about, well, if ain't no men in the family, run. You notice it ain't no men in the family. All the men is gone, and all women are victims and all that. A lot of these guys, they're not putting up with it, bro. They going elsewhere. And when these women experience these guys, and they see that the stereotypes about black men are not true, that child support wasn't created because of a black man. It was created because Brad didn't take care of his children. And what guys are experiencing is like, a lot of it is, I'm tired of dealing with black women. It starts at home with the mother, with the sisters, with the classmates, and they just make you have to fight for the right to get leadership. Who want to fight for leadership? Who want to fight for respect? You got to fight for somebody to respect you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these brothers, man, they finding out, okay, I get submission, I get respect. They cook, they clean, they redo my closet. They shut up. They're jubilee. You know what I'm saying? And they willing to put up with the integration of integrating with the family, the awkwardness. They willing to put up with that. That's just the truth of the matter is. So when you get with these other women and they see that you ain't this thug, they see that you a hustler, they see that you think about them, they input, their opinion matters, that's what makes you attractive to them. Then you already the most wanted. You heard what some thugs say. Your natural size, your natural frame, naturally having more testosterone than any other men on the planet. Come on now. They spot potential. That's what happened. You grow up with a mommy and a daddy. You see what a man is supposed to do. Your friend's mother, father was doing that. You know, they friend's father was doing that. You seen two parent households wherever you went. Wherever you went, there you have it. You can't spot nothing if you what if you don't if you didn't see it. Somebody can tell you all the time on what type of guy to go for. But if you can't spot the potential, if you don't have the ability to spot the potential, it's a wrap. White girls have been trained to do that. Other ethnic groups of women, they ain't trained to do it, but they know what it look like. And when they, find a guy that they like, you see a lot of them Indian, families, they starting to become more, non-traditional. I've been watching videos and researching that. They starting to be okay with you not, they kids not sleeping with their own kind. I mean, when you come to Sodom and Gomorrah, whatever the hell they call it, when you come here, all tradition go out the window. So how dare they talking about black people don't have no tradition, black people don't have this, that, and the third. Soon as you came to Sodom and Gomorrah, your shit went out the window too, ninja. Soon as your women had the freedom to pop, don't stop, pop that. Hey man, soon as they had the freedom, they did what Keisha did. Real talk. Soon as they had the freedom to break loose, they did it too. So when you don't have wives, when you don't have two-parent households, black women is in the deficit. Guys don't have to worry about that. Because, on the contrary, you see a bunch of black women training their women to be 304s, training their women to be prostitutes. Right? But guess what they doing with the young boys? Domesticating them, teaching them respect femininity, teaching them to have women rule over them, teaching them that a woman's opinion matters, teaching them to be a leftist liberal, teaching them to be Democrats, teaching them to be soft and emotional, and all that type of shit. And other groups of women appreciate it. Just telling you that right now. They training their own black men to be ready for the other. And the women that tend to be able to get wives in the black community, I guarantee if you look at the statistics, a lot of them, they probably like blended families, already had kids, washed up woman. And when you start kind of getting up in that, regardless of whatever ethnic group you in, you start blending, kids that's under 18 or not fully grown, let's just say under 25, and y'all blending families and shit like that. Or, she 30 something and you 30 something and y'all get married, it's going to fail, man, because the guy that she wanted to be with she's already passed him by. The guy that she never got over, women, be like, oh, it's always that one guy that you'll drop everything for. That's how women think. Guys don't think about that. Once that good thing is gone and that woman is gone, we on to the next. That one guy that had a connection with the woman, you could fuck better than him. You can be taller than him. You could be better than him. But that one guy that imprinted on that girl before you, she's always going to break bad on you for him. That's what she think about. Women always think about what they can't have or what would have been or what could have been. I don't think Becky is absolved from, any wrongdoing. They play the long game too. They wait till you build your assets up and they leave too. But it shows feel like, or it shows look like, and I could be wrong, they tend to have more respect for black men when they get married to them. They tend to have more loyalty to them. But then again, like I said, when you dealing with Brad, very irresponsible. They'll go bet the whole fucking house on a football game. They'll go buy they do a lot of reckless and irresponsible things. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of this shit, child support and all that shit, and alimony was created because on the backs of them. They was creating broken homes, but they put all these jackets on black men. That's what I'll be telling y'all, man. Like, don't be believing these media stereotypes, man. And when you hear a black man and popped up another woman, and you rarely see it's a white woman. You ever notice that? It's rarely a white woman that's on the bad side of DV or a domestic upper room. It's rarely a black man doing it to a white woman. Just from the naked eye, right? And one of the reasons that is because it's a respect thing there. The reason why you kind of see it being a little bit high on the other end is, black women, yeah, they can fake it for a minute for Brad and whoever they with, but that mouth is that mouth. That mouth is that mouth. So that's what I be telling y'all, man. Like, that mouth is that mouth. There's a respect there. They respect the masculine frame of a black man. You know, they respect that. Our women, they respect it and they know everything you want. Let me say that first and foremost, and I'll get to these comment sections. They know everything that you want, brothers. Everything that you want. Hey, you know, get with a woman that ain't you been with her, and they be like, well, you be with a woman for 5 or 6 years and you won't marry her, and she know why, because you told her. You're not gonna keep complaining like no broad about it. You told her what she need to clean up. She don't clean up, you finally leave. And guess what? She started doing everything you asked her to do. She started cooking on time, cleaning. She do everything. Saving money, sucking your Joe button. Everything you've been complaining about, you had to show her the ability that, hey, I will leave your ass. I will fucking leave you. I will. You had to actually leave to get submission and cooperation. It's crazy. Some of y'all gotta cheat just for her to stick on you. Sometimes you gotta leave her, get another chick, and all of a sudden she want to do everything for you. And that's our women, bro. And that's all. Even with any woman in general, if she don't fear you, bro, if she don't fear that you will, fear you, however you want to take that, fear that you will walk away, fear that you will leave, fear that you'll move on with another chick, fear that whatever you want to take that. If she don't fear you, especially in the black community, but this is amongst the board, dog, she don't respect you, bro. She don't respect you. And when she don't respect you, you don't have nothing, brother. You don't have nothing. Without respect is everything. Respect is everything. Oh God, respect is everything. When they don't fear that you will leave, let me just leave it at that, right? The rest of that shit when they don't fear that you will leave, bro, they start taking you for granted, bro. This is why they stick with dudes that cheat, bro. Women want to fight for something. That's why you gotta stay in shape. You gotta stay him. They want to fight for shit, bro. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it a thigh while, man. When they don't think you better than them, when they don't love you, when they don't fear that you gonna leave, they don't respect you. I also don't understand how niggas stay with women who don't respect them, bro. I couldn't do it, bro. It's gonna make me get out of body, bro. It's gonna make me get out of body, bro. Respect is imperative. You see that dude, Akash Singh, how his woman doing him? Like, bro, he's a beta, bro. And most of the men that get married are betas, bro. Alphas get married for corporate reasons, for business reasons. That's it. Alphas get married for corporate and business reasons. You know, especially in their prime. It's a business thing. LeBron had to get married to get to where he at. Jeff Bezos had to be married. That's just what it is. Um, but yeah, and black women always ask that rhetorical question: why, why? And we tell them why, and it's I'm offended. You're attacking me instead of doing better. And I'm gonna leave it like this. And I did it, and I talked about it in the Pacer video. Most of this stuff. I got a Shador video coming in like an hour or two, 10 o'clock. I was gonna throw him in there, but I got one coming at 10 o'clock. Maybe we talk about him tomorrow night. Last day tomorrow. So we'll see what he do this week or something. So I said this in the Pacer video, all most of this stuff in the Pacer video. But the thing about it is why a lot of black guys gave up, and I ain't one of them. It is what it is. I always fuck with who fuck with me. That's strictly that. If not, then I get a couple chicks clap, just a couple chicks, and I just chill. I have a couple ones I like, stroking on and kicking it with, and that's just me. I ain't saying that got to be you. Do what you do. I ain't dick policing or nothing like that, right? And maybe we do another stream kind of talking about we kind of talk about like the downside of swirling and shit like that. It's the downside of it too. Especially if she weak emotionally and you weak emotionally, or somebody in the situation is just not, whatever, right? But when you go to certain places like in Detroit, like it's predominantly black, you don't see a lot of swirling in the city like that. So when we go like to Oakland, California, out to Cali, Texas, and we see all the mixed color, it ain't like that here. It's starting to get like that, but it's not like that here. But the thing about it is, I think why a lot of the black guys then pulled away from black women is because they don't do nothing for us. They don't dress for us no more. That's the last thing. The aesthetics just fell off. The aesthetics of black women have fell off, and I ain't even talking about the weight. The weight has always been what it was. Black people are naturally bigger than everybody else, and I'm gonna say this too. And like I said, get the Patreon, check out the free game 89. That links in the description. Both of them inside the link tree, or both of them individually in the description. I'm gonna say this, and this something that ain't nobody else said but me. I've been saying this. See, when the black women travel abroad, you got to understand they're naturally bigger than the other guys. When you start, especially when you start talking about Asian countries, like Chinese people is like the taller, the bigger people out of the Asian community, from what I understand. When you start traveling abroad to like in Europe, especially around the Baltics and Eastern Europe and all that, you start traveling in Asia and all that. Most of the black women are bigger than those guys. So you got to understand that that's not attractive. But when black men travel, or men in general in America travel, they bigger than the most of women are turned on by that. Women want bigger guys. Women want guys they look up to, or guys that look stronger, bigger than them. That's what women want. So what the Thai women want, the Vietnamese women, the Chinese, Japanese, Indian women want. They like the masculinity. They like that. And let me say this also. Black men take care of themselves better as far as like appearance. Especially those particular black guys that take they smell good, they dress well, their clothes fit. I mean, like I said, you'll go out, and a lot of times, like, just sometimes people watch, and don't make it obvious. Like, a lot of times, just go somewhere at the mall, walk around, sit at the bar, the restaurant, or somewhere with family, like Texas Roadhouse, Benihana's. Once you realize why you are the elite of the elite, and they love Brad because they think Brad has this power in finances, and really, if you think it's Asians, but I'm not gonna get into the financial gap scale. But once you look, like, a lot of times you see these guys, man, and this can go for some older black guys. You see it with Chinese guys. You see it with Brad. You see it with a bunch of guys, Indian guys. Like, they'd be out to eat. Like, they'd be out somewhere nice. I don't know. They'd be anywhere. Benihana's, the mall. And, Brad got a golf shirt on, some hoop shorts on, and some Jerusalem flip-flops on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't care. They had a graduation, and he got a motherfucking he got a fucking pink golf hat on, or a Titleist golf hat on. He got a wrinkled Izod fucking collar shirt on, and some fucking some slacks from Walmart. No swag at all. They be at the birthday parties, you know what I'm saying, with the just looking like they smell like cat piss and dog balls. It's just keeping it real, like, you know what I'm saying. And when we step, you know what I'm saying, we looking nice. If you one of them brothers, you looking nice. You gonna make sure you always got something for the occasion. If y'all just going out y'all just going out to bowl or top golf, you got the Nike Tech. You know what I'm saying, or you just got a regular nice sweatsuit on. Your shoes look good. You smell good. You lotioned up. Your hair looking right. It's you put the sheen on. It's sparkling and shit. You crispy. You get a haircut every 2-3 weeks. You him. You him. You go people watch and see what I'm talking about, bro. Ain't nobody really keeping themselves up like black men, bro, as far as on the aesthetic shit. But where our women lost us at is they stopped catering towards what we want as far as looks. That was it. That killed it. Niggas for years decades put up with the attitude, they put up with the disloyalty, they put up with the misandry, they put up with the matriarchy that the niggas was living in. But now that you see women with the nastiest aesthetics in the community, you know what I'm saying? When you start talking about all these fucking Christmas ornaments hanging from their nose, what happened to a regular nose ring? They got about 10 fucking, piercings up here, tattoos everywhere, wig cocked to the side like a fucking New York Yankees fitted. You be like, well, I don't like this hair color on women, and I don't like the body suits. I don't like the bubble skirts, what they call the bubble skirts with your ass showing. You know what I'm saying? Like you like cool. You know what I'm saying? You just looking like it's just aesthetically not pleasing no more. So when they aesthetically became not pleasing with how they dressing, don't like the piercings, don't like the oversaturation of makeup, you confront them about it. Just random women like, that's just too much makeup. They fight and tell you it's not too much makeup. She got a whole fucking primer coat, two primer coats, and two shades of paint on their face, and you arguing with women about, like, I don't find that attractive. Or guys want BBLs. You like, I don't like BBLs. You know, we like natural hair, or no. And then you find out a lot of black women have a lot of fucking hair. It's crazy. So they don't do anything for us, bro. They don't get in shape for us. They don't dress for us. You can tell a woman, I just like the way you look naturally. She gonna come out with the next time you see her with a bunch of makeup. It's like it's a turn off. It's a turn off. Oh, you beautiful. Next thing you know, the bitch want to get a bow ties, get a nose. Like, your validation isn't good enough. So when they stop being aesthetically pleasing to us, and they beauty tactics then went trans fucking mission, if you catch my drift, they didn't went transmission with the beauty tactics and looking like the transmissions and shit, over voluptuous hips, all big ass titties, getting BBLs and the tummy tucks and the fat going to the calves, going to the neck because they don't stay working out. We just waved the white flag, bro. That's what did it. Yeah, men was willing to put up with the attitude. Men was willing to put up with the infidelity. They was willing to put up with their mouth. But when they what fucking drew the line, while Pacer players and put niggas everywhere feel like they can do this. I think the number dropped from 88, 89% to 70%, from like, it's like somewhere in the 80s that black men were, marrying black women in like 88, 87. Now I heard it was down to 70%. And this got a lot to do with a lot of social programming too, right? They find like a lot of them X accounts, a lot of these accounts that are talking about like politics or issues. A lot of them are fake accounts, Indian accounts, tethers, lesbians. That's really recruiting women, to get away from men. That's all it is lesbians, bitter women, and foreign people, right? But when the aesthetics got turned off, when black women stopped being aesthetically pleasing, I think that's when black men walked away. I think that's what finally did it. I don't think it was the attitude. I don't think it was I'm a baby mama. I don't think it was per se the weight. I think really when they start like wearing these all this extra BBLs and all these makeups, you don't know if they're a transmission or a woman. Real spill, you don't know if they're a transmission or a woman. That's the crazy thing about it. You don't know. So, they're like, oh, we got ass out. And niggas used to put ass used to be king around this bitch or queen around this bitch. Ass don't even matter no more, bro. Niggas, I'm good, bro. like, dudes, like, we good, bro. We good. And that's what it is. The aesthetics has fallen off, bro. Niggas will put up with the way gang. They'll put up with it, but niggas is good, bro. Niggas is like, I'm good. Like, y'all definitely have become ugly in y'all aesthetics, bro. The dressing, which y'all wearing. And then it's embarrassing for me to claim you and you dressing like this. And what be so funny, I'm about to get to the comment. What be so funny is, dog, they don't be embarrassed when they be half naked outside. I remember I was dealing with this chick, bro. I swear to God, dog. I was dealing with this chick, bro. And my window was like open. Like, I keep the window open for the dog. You know what I'm saying? He liked to look out the window. When I didn't keep it open, he started fucking breaking my blinds and shit, man. I don't want my shit to look like everybody else shit with their blinds all fucked up and shit, right? So, um, so she on my on the couch. So she comes over. I swear to God, what you call them shit? I got one of them jackets in there. So what you call that fucking jacket? North Face, right? I bought a North Face jacket. I bought that shit on clearance, no kizzy. And so he come in and she wore this big ass North Face jacket. I never forget, it was like purple and like green or some shit like that. I'm like, damn, what's good? So she come in this bitch and like she take it off. Like she got straight lingerie on, bro. Like straight lingerie on. So like the shit snapping shit. So first thing she do, she used to get on my couch. I used to just pop this bitch off. I didn't even know she had a kid. This is so crazy, bro. And she, she busts down or whatever. And like I start snapping that shit off. Like, nigga, I'm ready to suit it and booty. Like I'm about to go hard in the paint. And she started snapping that shit off, and I'm like, start bust the monkey wide open, like nigga, like bust her down, bro. She like, oh my god, let me cover up. Your window's open. I'm like, bitch, you a hoe. No disrespect, but it was what it was. I was like, are you really caring? Like nobody looking at here. That's oh my god. Like shit was crazy, bro. Like they'd cover up for shit like that, but they'd go outside half naked. It's crazy, bro. I'm just looking like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, she got some respect left. But shit was crazy, bro. Shit was crazy. Shit was crazy. Shit was crazy. I bust that shit. I snapped that shit off with the quickness, nigga. I ain't gonna cap. I'm like, oh, she came over and she didn't come to play. Man. Oh, I'm trying to run through these comments. Shout out to L5 player. He said, you from Detroit? Absolute. I did not know that. Looking to cop some land banks. Well, salute to you. You probably need to talk to Anton Daniels about that. Um, about that, but I know about the land bank. It's some stipulations in there. Said, what about Delray? I don't know much about Delray. That's in Southwest. They used to have like at a point in time, I don't know what happened, but they used to find like 100,000 in the walls in Delray. They used to find them houses and them old fucking baby boomers or whatever before them, stash money in the walls in Delray. Most of my mom family is from the east side, but I never stay over there. Yeah, I don't fuck with the east side. No disrespect. Kingdom salute. And let Dr. Umar hear this. He said, you got an old soul, bro, man. I'm old, man. He said, what did Jaheim say? Yeah, you never put a woman, don't put that woman first and look at that nigga. Wow, I never saw it like that. A Nubian woman is still ungrateful. I mean, women in general still be ungrateful, bro. It's just people, it ain't never good enough. You find a woman that's good enough, man, you found a good one. Especially if they're young. Facts. Successful white men are leaders in their household, but not the average white man. Yeah, facts. The women run it. Say Ann Arbor also. This is why I like being to by myself for the most part. These BWs are not lovable at all. Yeah, you gotta find one that actually like you. That's hard to do, bro. Don't be fooled. Those Arabic hoes. In fact, I just spoke on that. A lot of grannies ruin the household. Yeah, yep. Matriarchy. Where do you think the matriarchy come from? I've seen grandmas, make their daughters divorce good men because they was bitter and old. They run it, bro, and they run it off emotion and off of feeling, bro. And they don't like every woman that's in there. If a woman look better than them, man, they start hating on them. I didn't seen it my whole life. I noticed a lot of black men in their 20s don't have kids. I mean, in general, I think 54% of black men, I believe, under 40 don't have kids, bro. Kevin Samuels always used to quote that. And God shout you, bro. You be dropping gems. Shout out to Machiavelli Thomas. Just appreciate it. To the courts and the government system is a white woman's game. Yeah, facts. Facts. They just use black women as the shield. Tank, for example. Salute to Hans L. He said, shout out to Kid Bud, Shador. Niggas in Philly having a field day with Brian Norman Jr., boy. Said you gotta leave her at least one. Yeah, yup. Or she gotta know you gonna leave. She gotta know you gonna leave. If she don't feel like you gonna leave and you can get some, you can go fuck another bit, man. It's a wrap. Walking away, in my opinion, is not a great enough punishment as much as many men think. It is. Yeah, it is. It's the best punishment, walking away. Not putting your hands on her, not doing no dumb shit. Move on. Shit, once you walk away, man, once you walk away, stay away. Don't even fuck her again. Don't give her any. That's the best thing you could do. Walk away and don't argue, don't fight, don't ask why. Keep it moving. I work 8 to 6:30. Saved a lot for tomorrow. Much appreciated. He said, what's your thoughts on tickets? Fuck Ticket TV. Fuck that nigga, man. He said stroking and joking with the dog. Yeah. You know what, man? Yeah, fuck that nigga, man. I said it. We can do more with the hairstyles too. Yes, I think it's the sign of the times why men has checked out. Yeah, I'm from the east side, even though I live both sides. Shout out to you. Yeah, but you know, when women stop being aesthetically pleasing, that it was a rizzy. But let me get out of here, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.